Today, the two most powerful people in AI went to court. And within the next 1 to 2 months, one judge will decide the fate of OpenAI. Now, I cover AI every day and all day long, and this has to be by far one of the most interesting stories in AI this year. If Elon wins, ChatGPT as you know it may just change overnight, and you might just see the fall of OpenAI. This is a very historical moment, not just for Musk and Altman, but also for the AI industry and how potentially AI moves forward. So the next few minutes, you'll understand the entire story and why this is currently taking place right now, and ultimately what it means for you and the AI industry. So let's first start with this NBC News article. There's a lot going on in this case. I'm gonna break it down for you. So there's a few things I need you to know and we'll go through them. But most importantly, a thing to note is that this case is one part business dispute and one part highly personal grudge match. The urge to make money to this degree, right, of the kind of the Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezos, is mostly due to, I would think, ego. Okay, at least just from my experience, what I've seen, a lot of it is ego. And so this partnership between Altman and Musk started back in 2015 when they first decided to start OpenAI together, right? Musk, I believe, they gave them $30 million to kind of help fund this project. And ever since, it's kind of went sideways. But a lot of this is coming from the personal grudge match rather than this dispute. And you have to realize too, Musk does have his own AI company now, and majority of market share in the consumer side of things is from OpenAI, right? They're kind of the first mover advantage back in early 2020s, and ever since, obviously more participants have been coming into the market, and we're gonna go deep into what this actually means if Elon wins, right? It could determine the future of red hat startup OpenAI and its signature app, ChatGPT. At the heart of the case is OpenAI's transformation from a non-profit research center founded in 2015 into a for-profit behemoth now worth billions of dollars. Altman and Musk were the founding co-chairs of OpenAI. So essentially you have the parent company, which is the OpenAI Foundation, which is obviously the nonprofit. And then you have the OpenAI Group, which is for profit. And amongst them, you obviously have some major players, Microsoft, OpenAI employees, 2025 investors, 24 investors, and other stakeholders. So Musk is basically saying the transformation away from nonprofit status was a betrayal. That's not really what he signed up for or gave the money for, right? You have to realize too, Elon Musk at the very beginning, before this kind of AI race took over and everyone started mentioning AI, Elon was a major proponent, one of probably almost the only one talking about AI safety. Like this was years ago, before AI was such a buzzword. Nonetheless, he alleges that Altman and others accepted his money, advice, and time under the pretense of creating a public-spirited enterprise only to later allow people to cash in. Musk sued Altman and a long list of other co-defendants in 2024, demanding restitution that he later estimated at $134 billion. Altman's side counters that Musk is rewriting history. They argue Musk left OpenAI in a huff in 2018 and never gave the full $1 billion he pledged. They also say Musk agreed with them years ago about the need to convert OpenAI into a for-profit company in order to raise capital. Only they say Musk wanted OpenAI for himself and argued for folding it into his automaker Tesla. The souring of their relationship has at times bordered on the petty and personal. So they basically just take Twitter and they just keep going at each other. Like this is very, very comical. And again, a lot of like they don't care what the public thinks. Musk, as we know, will go on X and just tweet whatever he wants. You know, Sam will probably do the same. But this is this we have not seen before. And like I said before, the timing here is odd. They even allude to it as well. So OpenAI is locked in a heated battle with Anthropic and Google for leadership in the AI market, trying to get both consumers and business customers hooked on chatbots and other AI tools. We know that. OpenAI obviously went to the consumer side, Anthropic went to the enterprise side, and now they're kind of converging in the middle. Anthropic has made leaps and bounds to what it once was. Obviously, OpenAI being the first mover had majority of the consumer market share. And a lot of people did leave ChatGPT to go to Claude just because they had a lot more functionality and their model seemed to be better. But now Claude is coming actually into a bit of a bottleneck themselves because they don't have much compute. That's why you may be having some usage issues or thinking the model is not the same. It's because they are having their own bottleneck, right? So you have to realize kind of the stance and kind of the direction these companies took. Nonetheless, that's for a different conversation. But now OpenAI is trying to get more so on the business side of things, while Sam is kind of being attacked at his home, right? I believe there was a Molotov thrown at his house, and then some other people were going to his home. I predicted at the beginning of the year we will see public backlash in 2026. This here is essentially what I was predicting, and I think it might increase depending on the narrative of AI. Obviously, a lot of the public is scared of AI. You have to realize too, that narrative that is formed about AI, where it's like it's gonna, it's gonna take over, it's gonna kill us, X, Y, and Z, is partly due, well, essentially Hollywood, okay? Because you have to realize, what is the narrative they're pushing? Well, they're pushing Terminator. Well, everyone thinks of Terminator, right? Everyone thinks about these scary, like iRobot with Will Smith, for instance, because that converts. A lot of the narrative around AI is usually in the negative. That's kind of all you know. You don't really see any positive videos or movies or whatever about AI. So that is definitely something I'm gonna keep my eye on. So ultimately, what happens if Altman loses? It has the potential to radically upend OpenAI if the jury and judge agree with Musk. In a court filing in January, Musk said he planned to ask for $134 billion from OpenAI and Microsoft. Now, depending on how intense this trial actually gets, you might see the CEO actually take the stand, because you have to realize once Musk left, Microsoft basically was the major backer of OpenAI. He also said he'd asked the judge to order the firing of Altman and OpenAI co-founder Greg Brockman, along with a permanent injunction to preserve OpenAI's original character. And this is why this case is so massive. You have one of the biggest players in the AI industry, potentially, if it goes again in Musk's favor. OpenAI, as you know it right now, will be completely different, given what he's asking. So things also get interesting when you think of like a jury. So unlike in some other trials, the jury in this case is advisory. So that ultimately means they will not be making the decision. The judge will consider their verdict, but ultimately make the decision herself about liability. So interestingly enough, Musk requested a jury trial, and the judge said she'd sit 9 advisory jurors with no alternates. They'll be drawn from San Francisco and several surrounding counties, an area that includes many tech workers as well as critics of the industry and AI. So more specifically about the jury, the judge is calling a much larger pool of candidates during Monday's jury selection, about 3 times larger than typical for a civil case. The judge and attorneys will try and flesh out how potential jurors feel, not just about the bold-faced names, but also AI in general. And more to the point, Musk claims the company profited wrongfully from his contributions and a breach of charitable trust and unjust enrichment. So he always thought it would be a nonprofit mission to develop safe open source AI technology for the public good. Again, being an advocate for safety. Enter in Microsoft. Now they are being named as a co-defendant in the case, and they're being accused of aiding and abetting OpenAI's breach of charitable trust. Musk wants the judge to revert OpenAI back to its previous nonprofit structure and removal of Altman and Brockman from their roles on the board and more than $130 billion in damages. So as always, I will keep you up to date on everything that is currently going on with this trial. If you found that valuable, subscribe. The best case scenario, you're going to learn the world's greatest technology. Worst case scenario, you're going to get bored. Unsubscribe in the next 5 minutes, 5 weeks. Does not matter to me. As always, my friends, stay human, and I'll see you next time.